Hey everybody, thanks for joining us here today. Book Blather. If you're new here, I'm Dave, this is Olive, and we try to have a little fun while we talk about books and sometimes some other stuff to help spread the joy of reading. So today we want to jump on here and do a quick one because we picked up a few books, and sometimes, we pick things up and pick up a book or two and we end up never telling you guys about them. So we want to make sure we always do that from now on. So even if we just have small ones, we'll do a little mini haul for you. So got these two different things. Today we were actually out trying to mail some books to a couple people, and we missed the post office by 5 minutes, which really annoyed us. And so then we consoled ourselves by going to the little shop in the local library. So our main library branch here in town, they have a little used bookshop called, what's the name of it? Twice Read Books, I think it's called. And neat little thing. And they actually have a lot of current books there and stuff. So I actually, let me start first with so before I get to those books, that's what prompted today's video. But first, actually, there was another book that just came in the mail that we got on eBay. I was looking for, somebody mentioned a book, I don't remember who it was, a vintage sci-fi book. Went onto eBay or Goodreads to look at it, and one of those places, this other one popped up, and this other one looked really, really interesting. Sometimes you buy a book just because of the cover. Look at that. Novelettes. See how they spelled novelettes? Novelettes of science fiction. So this is a collection of little novelettes of vintage science fiction stuff. There's some well-known names on here. James Blish, Clifford D. Simak, L. Sprague de Camp, Milton Lesser, Paul Anderson, Frank Belknap Long, Arthur C. Clarke, and Lester Del Rey. So it's a bunch of really short ones. And I don't know what story that cover relates to. I'm hoping it relates to one of them because that cover just absolutely looks intense. So that's pretty much why we got this. So that our little vintage sci-fi pickup. Then today, like I said, we went to this little library, and they have a lot of stuff. And we actually popped in there just to see if they had something. We just did a recent video where we read the nonfiction book Oath and Honor by Liz Cheney, which was about our January 6th event and the investigation of the ex-president Donald Trump, the following that, and so that really kind of got us in the mood for that subject lately. And so one we were thinking of trying next was there's one by called Renegade by Adam Kinzinger, who's a congressman. There's another one called Enough by Cassidy Hutchinson, who is another memoir again, and she was a very high staffer in the Trump White House in the administration, and was a key witness during the investigations following the January 6th event. And so I actually went over there. I'm thinking about reading that book, and so I went over there just to see. I thought it was too new, but they do have a lot of new stuff in this library shop sometimes, and it's all super cheap. So that wasn't there, but we did find a few other things while we were there. And so directly relevant is we found this, Too Much and Never Enough by Mary L. Trump. And so you don't hear about this book too much, but this book was just published in 2020, and it's by Mary L. Trump, who is Donald Trump's niece. She has a PhD in psychological studies, and she's taught trauma, psychopathology, and developmental psychology. So she's a member of Donald Trump's family, but has this particularly appropriate degree. And so she, as you can see, the book is called Too Much and Never Enough, How My Family Created the World's Most Dangerous Man. And you can see there's a cute little young picture of Donald Trump on the front. So yeah, really interesting to read this because obviously she's very critical of her uncle, and she has this unique perspective of when they were all younger and what she saw in the family that she believes led him to be the person that he is today, and in particular interactions with his father, and how their family approached things, and lot of the lot of how they interacted with each other that she believes contributed heavily to who he is. So that looked really interesting, of course, coming off that other book that we just read. So another one in sort of similar is another nonfiction book. This is Here's the Deal by Kellyanne Conway. So this is going to be a little different perspective. So those, especially those that aren't in the U.S., maybe don't know who Kellyanne Conway is. She was a very, very visible figure in Trump's rise and his time in the White House. So Kellyanne Conway is, originally she was a famous pollster and political consultant, and she was asked to run Donald Trump's first campaign for president in 2016. She said yes. She did it incredibly successfully and was the first woman to, have a winning campaign for president. And after that, after Donald Trump was elected, then she became a senior advisor to him in the White House. And so she served in Trump's White House as an advisor from 2016 to 2020. And so known for doing a couple wacky things. She's come under fire for not just being in Trump's White House, but did some strange things that caused some wildfires. But she also was very successful in this role, both in the campaign and in the administration, and always seemed to me like a remarkably competent person for the most part, despite these other things that she was doing. I mean, just intellectually seemed like a pretty competent person. So I actually am very interested in reading this book because I'm curious to see what she says, as an insider throughout that first campaign and throughout that first term in the White House. I'm curious what she has to say about all that, because she was played a large part in navigating a lot of minefields during that time, and in particular what she has to say about January 6th. I think not much. I think like everybody else, she's not happy it happened, and but I think that's not too much of the book. It deals with that but she put this out in 2022, so it was after that happened, that event in 2020. So yeah, I figured I'm curious about this library is so you can see the book's like brand new. This was $1. It's $30 book in Barnes and Noble. It looks like I just picked up in Barnes and Noble. I got it for $1. So anyway, I'm not sure. We'll probably have to read this one slowly because it's a little bit longer. But interested. Let me. If anybody out there has read it, we'd be interested to hear what you think on either of those books. Obviously, there are going to be some slightly different perspectives, but we also don't not read things just because they don't lean a particular way that we are thinking at the time, right? That's not why you should read books, not just to affirm things that you already have, that you're already thinking. Okay, and so then we picked up this total change of pace, Black Panther graphic novel. So this is we've actually never read any Black Panther. Not that we have anything against it. It's just you can only read so many comics. So we never read Black Panther, but we have a lot of comics, a lot of graphic novels. This was $1, so we picked it up. This collects issues 1 to 4 and an issue of Fantastic Four that is related, I guess, an old one, and from issues 1 to 4 when this was put out in 2016. All these comic series, they always restarting, so there's there's going to be a bunch of Black Panther #1s. But so anyway, so we picked up that, and then we picked up. If you've been here for a while, one thing that we do is we piecemeal put together series that we find in the wild. We go to a lot of used, case in point today, we stopped at this little used library bookstore. We go to a ton of used bookstores, Goodwills, book fairs. I mean, we love that stuff. We love hunting and finding stuff in the wild. And what we do is I just, if I see something in a while as part of a series that I'm not sure if I'm going to read it, but the book is $1 or $2, I'll pick it up and figuring over time I will eventually find the other ones and put it together. And done that, keep doing that. We end up putting series together like that, and that way we figure once we get the series together, then maybe we'll read it. So I found a little while back a couple first edition, first printings of the Can of the Clave, Earth's Children series, beginning with the Clan of the Cave Bear. I think most people have heard of that book. And I found a couple of the first edition, first printings of those. So I picked them up. Don't know if I'll ever read the series, but again, it was like $1 or $2. So I grabbed them and I figured I'd put it together piecemeal if I see them. And so today we saw this. The Shelters of Stone, which is another book in that series. So same thing. This is first edition, first printing. So if I can put together a complete series of first edition, first printings, great. It's great to have, and maybe I'll read them. So I don't know. So that was everything actually. So like I said, a little mini haul, but so we got novelettes of science fiction, our vintage short story collection or novelette collection. We got Too Much and Never Enough by Mary L. Trump. We got Here's the Deal by Kellyanne Conway. Black Panther. And Shelters of Stone by Jean. Somebody told me how to pronounce this. Owl, I think? I think it's Owl. Or I pronounced it wrong the first time. I'll probably pronounce it wrong again. But anyway, so that's all we got today. So little mini haul there for you. Let us know if you've read any of these. We'd be curious to hear your thoughts on them, as always. If you don't want to leave anything substantive, you can always leave Olive a puppy emoji. You know, she always likes to see those. So, see you again very soon. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.